Um,
Good, good evening, Dr.
good
Ferdinand. I
good
hope you'll hear me.
evening. Oh, I'm hearing you good. Just make sure that you're on your headphones and not you don't have a speaker in the back, otherwise it will echo and come back through. So you're on your headphones, okay?
Yeah, I'm on my headphones. Yeah,
Good. And you're hearing me good.
very well, sir.
Yeah, I'm still getting a little echo there. Maybe your mic is super sensitive. That's one of the things you have.
Okay.
But that's okay. I think we can work with it. I can live with it, and I'm sure the loyal opposition can. But Glenn, welcome to the show. Good to have you on with us tonight. Say a few words as introduction as we go on tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I hope we can in for a good night in which I can learn some things, um, probably teach people some things, but continue our program of enlightening and informing and educating the public on things that matter most to the Barbadian society. So I look forward to our engagement and that involving all your other guests tonight.
Well, thank you so very much, Glenn, and I really appreciate having you here. I was just chatting. I just wanted to advertise that motorcade. There is the UK Parliament that we'll be advertising later on in the show, where Marcia is going to be. And that's in the United Kingdom in London. She's traveling. She's got up to the European Union to make a presentation there with regards to the LGBTQ2 plus agendas and so forth. And she's coming back through London to do a UK roadside parliament in London. So when we have that flyer, we'll pull it up. And of course, folk, we want you to remember that young lady who is got that dilemma with the special water that she needs, and we want to keep that before you, and so that you don't forget her. All right. Okay. So Glyne, I was just I'm getting that echo a little louder from you. Um, whatever you did just now is gone. Whatever you did just now is gone, and so don't move. I don't know if there's a movement you made. Oh, goodness gracious me. But it's gone. It's gone. But, I was sharing a moment ago, Glenn, concerning the crisis we're having in Barbados with our land use, and the selling off of our prime, what I call prime property, the beachside property, Glenn. And it's coming back. I'm not sure how it's doing that. But nevertheless, um, what I might do is I might just mute you while I'm speaking, and then when I pause, I'll unmute you so you can speak, so we get rid of that echo. Oh
Yeah,
no, that's me.
I suspect it's probably the sensitivity of
Yeah,
some. These are new earphones that I bought
yeah.
that
I
has
think
been
it.
giving me that problem.
Yeah, it might be the sensitivity of the mic because the mic is fairly close up, and
Okay.
it will probably pick up from those headphones. But that's okay. I'll try to work with it. If anything, I'll just mute you for a moment while I speak, and then you can unmute when you're going to chat. But I was sharing, Glenn, concerning what was happening with our properties on the beach side. And of course, we just saw that water motorcade, and you would have observed, and I think you would have heard Dave mention it. You would have heard Dave Weeks mention it concerning all of the people who appeared at the United Nations and spoke from the podium wearing their country flag, or the country, lapel. And our prime minister did not have on her Barbadian flag. She did have on the Sustainable Development Goals pin. And one of the things about that Sustainable Development Goals pin line is it speaks about the matter of water, good, proper water. And, I would suggest to the Prime Minister that you take off the pin until we have the water woes in St. Lucie address. What do you think? You have to unmute. Don't forget. What do you think, right?
I think anything that can be done and quickly to relieve this enduring, sustained problem with the people in Salusi is worth doing. I think I, I do not understand the insensitivity of the government. I do not understand the insensitivity of the Barbados Water Authority, which is under the Prime Minister's office these days, which
Hmm.
could treat this as a casual event as though it's just a burst main, or a little rupture somewhere. Where these the quality of these people's life has been considerably
Oh yes.
degraded.
Oh
I
yes.
would not want to live that life at all. And what is infuriating is that there's no indication that they're taking it seriously. I don't know
Correct.
if they probably want to think that make the people believe that everything is they are under control. But what people are not seeing control that your cam or what they're saying is what appears to be indifference, and that is
Yes.
the
Yes. That's
persistent,
a good description.
really
Indifference.
indifferent. But then
Yes. Yes.
you talk about the government standing off the beachside line, the seaside line, but don't forget, there's a document which I've quoted from frequently called "Welcome Barbados," a big thick document where the Prime Minister has written a welcome message in which she's written the most these are the most ominous, frightening words ever heard of our Prime Minister's mouth where development is concerned. Where she's saying that I paraphrase, he said that we have updated our 50-year fair oil town and country plan development act. We have a new modern one, right? When you apply with a presumption to which you can apply with a presumption in favor of development, with a presumption in favor of development. When so to me that means that you can assume there's almost a foregone conclusion. There's routine. You're just going through the motions. And furthermore, to add insult to injury, she tells persons that if when you apply and it's not approved, we will write back to you quickly and tell you what you have to do to get the approval. So it makes it seem so easy and straightforward. What is so infuriating is that this rationale has never been brought to the public bar basis for concern. Has never been bunked. It's been put into the document for investors. I guess they want their money, but we want they still have to any investor has to come and operate and live in Barbados. And if you you want the money, money, money. And, oh, I
You
know.
you
But
you remember that one?
yeah,
You remember that one?
but at what price?
Oh Jesus
I've
Christ.
I've never seen any leader of Barbados have that easygoing, overextended attitude towards development yet in Barbados. I feel that each case should be judged on its own merits. Each application should be set up against the criteria of the Plan Development Office, uh, all the right requirements. Each case, there should be any presumption. The presumption should be fair, you be fairly and evenly treated, properly treated. There be no bias and discrimination against you. But I don't think anybody should be that you a presumption in favor of development. To me, that's selling out. That's a pure. You're giving away.
And and,
Let's
and
go
mind
through the
you,
motions.
and mind you, Glyne, locals have such a horrid time getting approval even just for the development of a house, or an apartment block. You got to wait, and mind you, I don't know because I know a few persons in the well the what was formerly the town planning department. I haven't got the new phraseology uh, nailed down very well as yet. So pardon me
Yeah.
if I still refer to it as the town planning. Um, but you have to go through so much. I know people who have been waiting months for approvals. You know,
By the way, Dr. Nichols, I watched the 7 o'clock news before he came in here,
uh-huh.
and the lead story was a big development. I think a 24 room condominium project on Roadview, St. Peter. Uh, 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 24. So ironic. I think the name is ironic. It's going to block out the view. But
Oh,
that road used to be called Road View, which means from that road one could have seen the sea. Now here's another project going out to block off the view at Road View, St. Peter. So here we go again.
it's ridiculous. I mean, you hear the prime minister talking about amending legislation to make it easier for Barbadians to own land or something along that line. But when people buy land, Glyne, they don't buy it to just sit down idle forever and ever. Amen. They either buy it to build on it or buy it to develop agriculture or something. Do something with it. But
Yeah.
so you encourage them to get the property, and then when they submit the plans, it takes like forever
Okay.
for them.
I'm gonna switch gears slightly. When I first heard your opening salvo tonight, I thought you were. seeing red, both figuratively for literally, because I remember I saw a poster of a red day.
I saw some foolishness come out. I was going to, Glenn, I was going to show it, and I was strongly reprimanded. We are
Yeah, but
not
I,
advertising nothing.
but I mean, you have national heroes there. You have um, uh, anti breast cancer awareness day, etc. Not Independence Day, but a red day.
Well,
Red now is a national symbol.
we countered. I'm looking for it. I don't know if Dave has it, but we countered. Dave, I don't know if you have that flyer with the black day. We countered Glyne with the black day.
That- but
Okay.
no, when I saw that flyer, I remember late Prime Minister Renata when he was breaking ties with the BLP, said it's lost its way and it's lost its soul. I know to add to that, if I might, it's lost its mind,
But but
especially
but but Glenn,
if
I heard somebody. Um, I heard somebody. I think it was today during the Democratic Labour Party's presentation. Talk about how it was alleged, or there was a rumor. I don't know if you heard it or if it has now been confirmed, but there was a rumor that the floor on which the conference is going to be taking place this weekend is painted red, or some aspects painted red. Of course, we know what happened in Oistins with the $5 million uh, that was diverted from the Kensington Oval loan up at Oistins, and to paint everything up there red. Glenn, what is going on? And pardon the expression, and folk, don't get upset with me, please. All right, but Glenn and I go back a long way. Glenn, what is going on with our Barbados Labour Party?
yours, because they left them. I gave up on them in 2013, so you're still welcome to identify with them. I I
I am not with them. I was just being sarcastic.
Okay, but the point, and first of all, I understand this.
Oh God.
I saw a picture of the
Oh wait, it's like
supposed.
it's true. Wait, Glenn, is like it's true. I
I
mean, look at
when
the picture that Dave putting up on the screen.
so when I saw, I said I'm glad that that wasn't done at Combermere, because I don't understand what insanity can drive. I've been wrong. When I was with the Barbados Labour Party, I've been with it on many occasions. We have had party conferences all over Barbados, where the color of the party could be on the bunting, on the tablecloth, the shirts, but
Yes.
never paint. And then you're immediately going to the conference is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you're going to report, you're going to repaint it overnight for school on
For
Monday.
school on Monday.
It's insane, and I think it's degrading. I think it's vulgar. I think it's offensive, and I think it's excessive. I was hearing something. I got a report that the CEO of the Barbados Labour Party was approached to explain it, and it was never confirmed or denied, but no responsibility taken for it. It reminds me. Remember last year it was when they had when they had a T-shirt, a shirt saying Barbados Day. There was a T-shirt being put out about Independence Day and National Day. The confusion or which day whether it be Independence Day or Republic Day. And when same CEO was charged about it, could not take could not take a position and say, yeah, we did it, we're responsible. The same thing I understand is happening now with it's talking about some contract and the work. We have, a lot of mealy mouth talk, but the point is offensive. I think that should never happen to any school anywhere again. What's the point? What does it add? I think what they're doing, they're underestimating how degraded the popularity and the luster of red has become in the last few years. Red
Yeah.
no longer say, this is not pre-18 or even pre-22. It does not mean the same. So they can't assume. I've heard about red carpets, but red floors, and you paint
Yeah.
it
Well,
just
but I'm almost running the risk of giving them the benefit of the doubt of it being red carpet. and because it would cost a fortune to put red carpet down in that auditorium. Costs a lot of money to do it
I,
when people
I,
are so hard pressed around the country just trying to live.
it jogged my memory. In 2012, there was a conference at Queen's Park, and the idea was put upon that, and we did put red strips of cloth on the utility poles around around Queen's Park,
Uh
around
huh.
Crampton Street, up Robert Street, right up Halls Road, just to encircle it. But that is just to show that the BLP was in town and they were at Queen's Park. But it never went that far. Nobody ever thought of doing painting the walls or the floor of the Queen's Park station in red. Why would you do it to a school?
Well, listen,
Anyhow,
Glyne, I'm excited to hear what you're going to share tonight. Loyal opposition. Glyne is going to be talking to us about. Well, let me see if I can find it quickly, Glyne, because I had it out here. He's going to be sharing with us very quickly on on the aspect of strict guardians of our heritage. I'm saying it this way, but this is not what it's entitled.
okay.
But I appreciate the guardians of our heritage and the craftsmen of our faith when we realize as a country. And I listened to the national anthem, Glenn. I was so encouraged to know that you're going to be sharing today about our brave forefathers who sowed the seed. So let me step out of the way for a little bit and let you have the floor that you can educate us. Folk, we're here to learn. This is really a compendium, I think, is what they would call it, more than a show. I think Dave would be happy to hear me say so. So, Glyne, the floor is yours. Well, you know which floor.
A red floor.
Well,
What's the color? What's the color of the of the
you
floor?
could you could pick your color.
But thank you very much for your very generous
Dear me.
introduction. The topic I've chosen is entitled Sir Henry Ford, much more than a political elder. Sir Henry Ford, much more than a political elder. And before I put it into context and before I go any further, I'd like to take this occasion to extend on behalf of myself and family and the Marcel Shaw family
Yeah,
and
thank you.
members of law our condolences to the family
Yes,
of Sir
thank you.
Henry, especially Cheryl Lady Ford and all his children. Uh, I think he's left a lasting legacy of which he can be
Oh,
justly
yes.
proud. But I am especially glad to do it because for those who have not been around long enough to appreciate the name Henry Ford, the name Henry Ford has been well known in Barbados for many years. Uh, and he's no newcomer. And I would like to think that because you're not familiar with him, you think he was just an elder, somebody who's been there a long time, and that's that. No, he has a tremendous contribution to Barbados. He retired in 1999, having first won the seat in Christchurch West in 1971. But he was much more than that. Henry Ford was a scholar. As a matter of fact, Henry Ford symbolized his passing has left behind a few members of a tradition where the leaders of Barbados were all highly qualified, quite high intellect, um, and where and they go back to I mean they were all scholarship winners in one way or another, most of them. So Grantley Allen, the Barbados scholar, Albar, an island scholar, um, Tom Bob, the Barbados scholar, Erskine Sandyford, a Barbados scholar. Uh, uh, yeah, as I said, Albar. In addition, Oinata won a scholarship from Barbados to go and study his master's degree. So we are accustomed to that kind of intellect, and we have a tradition of people who some of our brightest and our best. That's the point I want to make. Some of the brightest and our best chose to either completely or put a part of their life in politics and uplift the Barbados, upgrade Barbados. And this was the time when university degrees were not commonplace. So people being discovered to go about, many of them came back, like the names they mentioned, and put themselves to the position. They could have gone to law or could have studied medicine and made money. In the case of Sir Henry, he was a lawyer, a very successful lawyer, uh,
Yes.
uh, uh, very successful, very highly regarded, both in Barbados and throughout the region and further afield. I may say that one of the things that stands out most about him is that he was well known and respected and highly regarded before he entered politics. And he's one of the few persons I know who left politics still highly regarded, still
That's right.
respected.
That's right.
I've never heard a serious question about his integrity,
No.
about 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 what his sincerity, etc. So therefore that alone says something because especially the last 2 years, it's very commonplace to hear virtually everybody who enters politics now think people think they're doing it for money, as against these stalwarts, so Grantley, Mr. Barrow, down the line, who made sacrifice of their own personal time to contribute to Barbados, and therefore Senator Ford, uh, he was one of those. He was a terrific orator,
Oh,
spoke
yes.
well,
Yes.
and not only him, but all these other leaders I'm talking about. They never relied on buzzwords or Bayesianism. They had gravitas. They
Yes.
were serious. They had depth. They're good thinkers. They're clear speakers. Simple language. They're dignified. So they brought upliftment to the leadership of Barbados, and we benefit from it right down the line. So this intellectual um, did a lot for Barbados, and quite unlike what we're seeing today, where um, they spoke the only two people in the in the House of Assembly who speak I would speak along the lines of how those persons spoke with the scholarship and the familiarity with the literature, the language and the tones and the appreciations for 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 good books and good reading would be, I would think, Mr. Thorne, the lady officer, and when he puts his mind to it, the Attorney General Del Marca. He does have that quality. Other than that, in the last house, I would think Prime Minister Stewart also fits that mold. And when you listen to them, you can learn something. You look up to them. As a matter of fact, uh, these persons who entered into politics, they do it. One of the reasons the French have a saying called noblesse oblige. Noblesse oblige, oblige. It really represents this where if you do well, if you're well off, if you're successful, you have an obligation within you to give back, to help people, to pass on your success, help upgrade the rest of society. So that the spirit, I think, that motivated these very early men who could have, they said, made much more money, could have died wealthy. In fact, I would think that there's only one prime minister of Barbados who would have passed with any semblance of wealth attached to the name. Mr. Granny did not, Prime Minister Adams did not, uh, Mr. Baird did not, Prime Minister Arthur did not. So these people they had a hard motivation from which the society benefited, and those who do not speak indoors or have that approach, that serious approach to speaking and public service, I think is a result of intellectual laziness or limitations, they're not quite um, rise to the task. But Sir Henry, um, of course, like I said, he was not perfect, but he was focused on what he could do for Barbados. Um, he he uh, he one of his he also belonged to a group called, I don't know, you're probably too young for this, Freddie, the under 40s. The under 40s in the period between 61 and 66 when they were talking about independence. When uh, when when Mr. Bardi said he was going independence alone, ironically, there's a little tidbit in history. Mr. Barr decided to go independent on after trying to forge a relationship with some of the smaller islands around us. It did not work out, so he decided to go alone. But he himself had wanted a federation because he actually ran for the federal parliament in 1958. After he lost at St. John's, it's St. George seat in 56. He lost at St. George, right. He lost the seat. He won under the BLP in 51, lost the St. George seat in 56. So then when the federal parliament was on and they had an election to collect 5 people to represent Barbie, he ran as one of those. Did not get it. But Victor Vaughan, the man who ran in St. John, won one of those seats. I went to the federal parliament and then Mr. Barry in the by-election to St. John. And I got that by-election. So it's ironic in a way that he wanted federation, but then he wanted independence alone. But that being the case, but these youngsters, Henry Ford, Asquith Phillips, Erskine Sandiford, Nigel Barr, uh, they they favored federation, independence within a federation. In other words, all that we've been trying to do since then in Carifta, in CARICOM, that's what the federation was supposed to do. So we're still struggling with the same concept, with the same objective. So
Wow.
and they contributed considerably because they were young men. Some were favored towards BLP, towards DLP, etc. But it never came true in the debates. They rose above partisan politics and gave a different perspective of federation and development and regional integration that was coming from other persons. Of course, Mr. Barr did not enjoy it, but that was part of the process. If you, to the extent that um, even that even that Mr. Sandiford, Sir Laurie eventually went and worked with Mr. Barra. Oscar Phillips was in Senate. So the party lines were blurred because they were doing it for the betterment of Barbados. And they made they gave a very uplifting, very high quality level of debate to Barbados. Used to attract crowds all over Barbados because they're offering something different,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The quality was there. Quality that we could deal with it could do with now. Then Sir Henry was also one of the leading aspects of Sir Henry, who did a tremendous amount of Barbados. He was a hard worker, he was an intellect, worked hard as a lawyer. I mean, a tremendous amount of legislation that came through Barbados. So I won't try to repeat the things that are well known about him, like the legislation to equalize the life and operation, the law of women, etc. Um, but he also he also made sure that everything he did had a certain standard about it, and reflected to the good of Barbados. He was foreign minister of foreign affairs from 76 to 1981 in the Tom Adams government, and he was one of the brightest sparks of the time Tom Adams Parliament. I'm sure you've heard the phrase "the Great Combination."
Yes.
It was given the name Great Combination because it was is easily one of the brightest cabinet collectively at any one time in Barbados. You had Henry Ford, Tom Adams, Bree St. John, um, trying to remember something, and Nigel Barrow, and in fact some of them were so good that there was Louis Tell himself, who himself had won a scholarship to Oxford. So these are high flyers. These are political heavyweights, or maybe middleweights at that time because they hadn't reached their peak yet. But their promise was so outstanding. It was so obvious that there was even talk. There was speculation that some of them might become future prime ministers in years to come. It was so good. So that's a great combination. And I don't think Barbados has ever seen the equal pound for pound, number for number, as as in those days. And they did a tremendous amount of good work for Barbados. Um, Raised the level of a lot of development that you see now came out of the guts and bowels of of that of that of that of that group, to the extent that led by Tom Adams. And one of the things that I always remember of Prime Minister Adams was that he decided that he had so much confidence in the quality of his cabinet. I remember once he told the DLP and the estimates, you call it has been the government partner to call the day. Tomorrow we discuss education, today we discuss health. He said, give us 24 hours Tell us what head you want to debate tomorrow. Just give us 24 hours. I will debate it for you. They never took up the offer because I think Mr. Smith at that time thought it was a trick. But and then Mr. Adams was so proud and so had so much faith in his in the great combination that at the end of his first term he decided to produce a document called Promises and Performance,
Yes.
where
Yeah.
where side by side on the left hand side was promise made,